This time in the corner.
Back for Marcus Smith. Marcus Smith. What a take by Max Whelans.
As it's popped over the top, that's one to do with, and Marcus Smith is in there!
Line live, coming to you from France. Another day, another location. We have moved from the England team hotel and we've taken over a new studio right here in the centre of Paris. I'm Topsy Ojo. Thank you very much for joining us again. On tonight's show, we've got two outstanding guests coming your way. We've got a load of fun games as well, and of course, we'll have your questions. So you want to tune in for this one. As many questions as you can. Comment in the box below. Use the hashtag #WearTheRose as well, and we'll put as many of your questions to our guests as we can. So let's get those guests on the sofa. And first up, a man who needs no introduction. He's the legend of the game, South Africa World Cup winner, and he's about to be inducted to the World Rugby Hall of Fame. It's Bryan Habana.
Say bonsoir?
Bonsoir, always bonsoir. And joining Bryan on the sofa, he's returning once again. 66 cap to his name, former England captain and Harlequins legend. It's Chris Robshaw. Robbo, Bryan, welcome. Appreciate you guys joining us. Bryan, you've been in France for quite a while now, so how are you enjoying your time touring up and down the country?
It's been brilliant. I honest, I'm looking at the screen now. I'm not wearing my pajamas. This lighting is pretty ridiculous, right? It's wrong choice of clothes. It's actually a proper suit. I'm not doubting my clip.
Nah, you're good. You're good. It's all right.
You look relaxed. You look relaxed.
I'm gonna maybe fall asleep, but just wear the pillows. It's been brilliant. Great couple of weeks. Some great banter. Good catching up with so many friends around. It was a really exciting time, and yeah, I had the family over. We did Disneyland. Went down south to Toulon, where we stayed for 5 years. So it was really great to reconnect with a lot of those that were involved in our journey during our time here in France. So it's been brilliant. Weather's changed a bit now.
Bit colder up here in Paris, isn't it?
Well, I mean, it was actually great until last week, Friday, and then sort of temperatures changed. So, yeah, it was pretty good.
It's been good. And Robbo, you've been bouncing back and forth as well, but you're back once again. So, how have you been enjoying your time out here in France?
Yeah, I've loved it. And similar to what Bryan said, you've been over here, you've been able to reconnect with so many kind of former teammates or former players you've played against, and that's what's really nice. Because I think when everyone's in the game, you're so intense and you don't really interact with people at all. But coming over here and doing some corporate work or TV work and stuff with people, it's nice to actually get to know the people behind the player. Because I mean, similar to these guys, the South Africans, they're so lovely off the field, but you get on the pitch and they want to rip your head off. But they're such nice people when you meet them, and some, yeah.
And some.
But again, and it is so fun just like seeing those type of people as well and seeing the personalities.
Yeah, friendly rivals. All right, we're going to get into that a bit later on. But first up, just to break the ice, I'm going to play a quick game called Fact or Fiction. Okay, so I'm going to read out a couple of facts about each other, and you have to decide which one of the facts is fiction. Okay, so
which one of the statements?
Which one of the statements is fiction? Yes, we had a bit of confusion with Tom Curry.
Yeah, I always get confused with
but
that.
also when you say which one of the facts is fiction? But if it's a fact, then it's actually a fact.
Yes.
Okay.
There we
I
go.
know you've been 7 weeks in. You are one take one.
always good to clear up the rules. Okay, so Chris, you're going to go first. Okay. Here are your facts about Bryan. So first up, fact number one: Bryan's parents are huge Manchester United fans. So much so that they named Bryan after two favourite players, Bryan Robson and Gary Bailey. Bryan's name is Bryan Gary Habana.
Is it spelled the same?
Spelled the same.
I'm not allowed to say that, am I?
Spelled the same.
Okay, yeah.
Spelled the same. I have it here. Tablet doesn't lie. Tablet doesn't lie. Fact number two: Bryan scored with his first touch in international rugby back in 2004. Fact number three: Bryan's fast footwork came from his parents' love of dancing, and he'd been having dance lessons from the age of 4. So, which one of those facts is actually fiction?
I think the first one, Bryan Robson.
Bryan Robson and Gary Bailey. Bryan, can you reveal?
I was actually indeed named after Bryan Robson and Gary Bailey, wanting to become the next South African export into the English Premiership for Manchester United. So that is a fact that I am named after two Manchester legends.
Wow.
There we go. See? Learn something new every day.
If Robbo had really done his analysis on me throughout my career, you would have seen that I don't step. I was a swerver. Bring out the dance moves in a nightclub. I probably have 2 left feet, so dancing at 40.
Oh, you're being too modest. You're being too modest. All right, all good. Okay, let's flip it over then. So,
which statement is fiction?
Bryan, a couple of facts about Robbo.
Yeah.
Okay, so fact number 1.
Yeah.
Robbo is mentioned, full name Chris Robshaw, mentioned in a Stormzy song. Fact number 2, Chris has been a fan of Arsenal since a child, and he actually, when England changed strip into a red wine colour, he loved it because it was a kit once worn by his Gunners heroes.
Yeah.
And fact number 3, Chris has had a classical music song inspired by his rugby career.
Yeah.
And it was actually performed at the Royal Albert Hall. So, Stormzy song, Arsenal shirt, classical song at the Royal Albert Hall. Which one of those is fiction?
So I think I'm gonna go the Arsenal shirt.
The Arsenal shirt.
Is
Okay.
the fiction within that.
All right, Robbo, will you reveal which one's a fiction?
Yeah, randomly enough, yeah, I think Stormzy did kind of a rugby kind of song, and yeah, drop me in that with. There's a couple of others which are quite cool. I was always an Arsenal fan as a kid, still am, and yeah, Arsenal had this kind of, England had this purple, well, same as this pretty much, and it was like when Henry and Bergkamp were playing, it was quite nice as an away kit. You actually confused me because my wife's a classical singer.
That's why I went
was
with
a
it.
bit like,
That's what I
but
do.
it is the classical one is fake.
It is the classical
You
one.
got me there. You got me. Hook, line and sinker.
That could actually be true in the future. I could definitely see
But I'm sure that there is maybe truth in it, right?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
coming up. But do you know the bars from the Stormzy song with your name in it?
I do, but I'm not singing it.
Come on, Robbo!
I'm not like Corbs,
You
unfortunately.
don't need to be like Corbs. That is Corbs isn't in
it
Stormzy
was
song.
something like, I'm going to sing it. Robshaw on the ball when it gets tough. Kick that man when he's down. You're going to be stressed when he gets up. Yeah.
Okay.
And I actually met him at a do. I met him at a do in London once. And I said, I don't think, he probably got told to say it or whatever. And I said, oh, I'm Chris Robshaw. And he's a big guy.
Yeah.
He's a big guy. And he just gave me the big smile. I was like, oh, Robshaw. And then I was like, oh, do you mind singing it? And he sung it, and it was pretty amazing.
Fair play.
Jeez, who needs to win trophies? You got Stormzy singing you a song.
Yeah, and then I'm sure we forgot about it as well. But yeah, it's lived close to my heart, which is quite nice.
Oh, that's incredible. I love that. Right. So, Bryan, you mentioned obviously 5 years in Toulon. So,
Yep.
obviously, big decision to move country to go and play somewhere else in the world. But what did you enjoy about the culture, in particular, about French life?
So I think for me, the love affair for France started in sort of 2007, and at that time we had the manner in which we became successful, really created a bit of a love affair, and then got an opportunity 2 years later, got approached by Toulon, and I had to think really hard about it. I had a great 5 years at the Bulls, potentially looking at a change in my life, just got married, and then I was like, oh no, I don't want to leave South Africa just this time. We had the Lions tour, everything was going really well. So then committed to the Stormers, Western Province, for 3 years. And 2 years later, Bernard Laporte approached me and said, listen, he's building a pretty decent team, the likes of Johnny Wilkinson, Carl Heyman, Bakis Poeta, Juan Lobe. It was like the Matt Giddas of the world. I'm like, ooh, this could be a good change of scenery. And as much as we hate to sometimes admit it, the financial impact also made a pretty big difference in the decision-making process. So after having told my wife that Cape Town is our forever home, when we arrived there at the end of 2009, then she stuck roots up, opened her own pre and post natal training facility, and like a year and a half later, I'm like, you know about that one thing I said, that Cape Town is going to be our forever home? Like, yeah, that's going to change next year. But it was brilliant. Obviously, coming into my first season, there was a lot of expectation. I actually got injured like within the first 6 months, so only played about 6-7 games in my first 8 months of being at Toulon. And the Murad Boujlal, the club president, was pretty brutal. Charges of salaries potentially not being paid were very real. Wow. But the end of that season, we won the double, top 14 and Champions Cup. Johnny ending on a high, which was absolutely brilliant. And I think the change from South Africa, even though I played quite regularly for the next 3 years, was a little bit of the anonymity that I sort of got. You know, Toulon's a small little French town. It's not a big metropole like Nice or Paris or Lyon or the big ones within France. And that was really cool. And people don't realize the money was great, but the weather is by far the best of all European clubs. I mean, I think we got 9 months of summer, and even our winters aren't really bad.
What was that like training with that group? 'Cause I always say, when people say, what's it like playing international? I say, training is the best bit, because you get to play the best players in the country, but there you have the best players in the world training, and it was just...
So the one thing we did have was Bernard Laporte, who was sort of head coach, but he was more a manager. And I mean, I got to Toulon having come from 9 years of very professional setups and structures in South Africa. We had like a container as a physio room. We had like this box gym that was just very average, like it was just very average. I'll never forget, second season, our ice machine broke and we had to literally go buy ice from the Carrefour because they wouldn't buy a new ice machine. It was that old school. So what was amazing was the level of professionalism, and everyone said like, this is a Galactico type style team, and it's great, but we're all mercenaries. And I think that sort of spurred us on to just show how beautiful, and the epitome of work ethic, training, putting the team first was Johnny Wilkinson. I think the manner in which he led that team, and there's classic videos of him not only picking up the French language but conversing and doing team talks in both English and French, and how he spurred that team on. But his level of intensity, his level of perfection that he set at training, then spurred the likes of Matt Gittard, Carl Heyman, Ali Williams, which was really incredible. And not only did we win the double in my first year, we then went on to win Europe 3 years in a row. And that just gave the little town of Toulon so much back in terms of how rugby really is the heartbeat of that city, which was brilliant. But yeah, I think the professionalism had definitely stepped up 3-4 years later. I go back to Toulon now, and they've got like this 95 million euro facility that the new owner Bernard Lemaitre has built.
You guys paid for. You made it. Yeah.
I'm like, has Murad left our duffel bag somewhere in the architectural structures of this new building? But it's been brilliant to see that. Obviously, had a 10-year drought of winning trophies, and then won the Challenge Cup at the end of last season, which will hopefully start a little bit of the rebuild into making Toulon the success it could have been, with a facility like that.
Yeah, it sounds incredible. I mean, having played there a couple of times as well, the scenes going into the stadium, I mean, it's one of the most unique, isn't it? I mean, have you played down there at the
I've never played, no. We never had them in either the Heineken or the Amlin or Europe. Yeah, so it was always one of those places you want to play though. It's one of those arenas you want to go to, mainly also because you look at that side. Obviously, when you were playing, it was the who's who of world rugby, and yes, there were some of them a little bit older, but still they had so much kind of class in that side, and you wanted to test yourself. But also it's passion. You always saw that guy before the game, kind of with the horn or your local chant, whatever it was.
Pilu, pilu.
And also just playing in the sun. But it makes a big difference. People always say playing on a Sunday afternoon where it's tipping down with rain, or south of France, and it's
pretty special.
It's not hard sell. It's not hard sell.
How many times did you play there?
Twice.
Okay.
Twice.
The gladiatorial tunnel that you have to go through coming into the stadium.
It's incredible. It's all part of the experience, isn't it? So even as an away player, you're coming in and you think, right, I'm ready. I want to be part of this.
Well, we actually played there. I was injured the game, and the guy who was captain at the time, it's a slippery floor. And for whatever reason, you should never have a concrete floor in change rooms. No. And someone's like hit him on the back to go out and go pump him up, and he's stacked it. And he's fallen over. And you see all the boys in the tunnel just like wetting themselves. And I think we got pumped that day, so it didn't start as well.
Good pre-match buzz.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. What do you say after that?
That's it. You still okay to play? Yeah, you are. All right, carry on. Robert, you've been catching up with some of the England players out here in your time in France as well. How was that? Yeah,
it was great. And they're the bits you miss, I think. It's not so much the training and stuff, it's seeing and being in the camp and going for the coffees and just having a laugh, really, because I think when you look back and you look at this photo, and even even Dan Cole, I think that's a bit of a smile on his face. And
You sure?
Coley,
Smile or wind?
well, I don't know. Yeah, true. I think he's doing a scrummaging sign. But look at him. People say he's an old man, but this man is wearing Crocs. And that is a style icon. If ever I've seen a style icon, that is one man. But yeah, look, in all seriousness, this was just before the game, and they were in good spirits. They've been in camp a long time, and it's those type of things where I think if people can pop in and give them a little bit of energy every now and then is good. But no, they're in good spirits, and yeah, they can't wait.
Have you two played against each other, actually?
A number of times.
A couple of times.
Yeah,
Any memories
on
that stand
the
out?
Don't know if I've won.
No good
I
memories.
was about to say they were good memories. You toured 2013.
We toured 2013, yeah.
3 games, which was also a pretty tight series.
Yeah.
Pushed us to literally the last smooth game where we got a penalty to equal and not lose a series England for the first time after. But yeah, we played quite a few times, mostly at Twickenham. But yeah, I had a good run.
Yeah, I mean, these guys were always. I mean, one of my favourite. First time I ever toured with England, went to South Africa. First game Durban, and then second game went to Ellis Park.
Yeah.
And wow, as a rugby experience, of course you play at the altitude as well. And these guys were formidable. They're big. You drive into the stadium and everyone's got some sort of green merchandise on, which I think is really good. I think sometimes we don't embrace that enough. And you went there and you heard them singing the national anthem at Ellis Park was something different. But probably the strangest thing I've ever done with Bryan is I was there's nothing. I mean, they asked him to do it, not me.
I'm not wearing my pajamas. Robbo, I'm not wearing my pajamas.
So we were doing an appearance, myself, him, and John de Villiers, and me and John had to pretend to pull this aeroplane. And Bryan had to race an aeroplane down the tarmac of like this airport. I don't know if you won, but it was.
Obviously.
Obviously.
Form of my life, right?
You've been in my life.
I mean, I've raced a cheetah. I mean, what is a plane? Seriously, come on, seriously.
Bryan, one last one for you. It's always good to get an external opinion. So what has been kind of your view of English rugby from the outside, from the beginning to what you see now?
So I think I was very reluctant about Eddie Jones leaving in November. There was obviously a big uproar, so short time period ahead of a massive competition. And it has taken a lot of time to get to sort of a resurgence, but you almost start seeing the groundwork of that initial effort being sown and coming to fruition now. A couple of weeks ago, lose to Fiji, everyone's sort of up in the air, and all of a sudden they go into the knockout stages and it's unbeaten, the only side that is, and you almost look at, yes, they had luck and a bounce of the ball, but I think the fruition of those early seeds being sown has really come to the fore now, and it's a team that's extremely experienced, a couple of youngsters that have produced the goods when needed, but a team that has shown a steely resolve against all the adversity that they've been put up against. And I think you've got to respect the fact that to go unbeaten when the other top 4 teams in the world aren't, puts them in a good stead. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the next couple of weeks pans out.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe what are some of your early memories of maybe the first time you saw an England team play, or your first experience of rugby in England?
So if I remember correctly, and it's only because I didn't really care about rugby in '94, but there was a tour, for South Africa that had come back into the national scene post-apartheid era, and being isolated from global sports. So I don't remember that tour much. Fast forward a year, massive tournament happening in South Africa with a lot of support from all sides, the iconic Nelson Mandela. But that memory of seeing John Loman run over Mr. Mike Cat. I mean, it obviously put Jonah on the scene, but I was like, what is this team all about, right? So that's sort of the first recollections of England, and unfortunately for my cat, not the best.
Sorry, he doesn't mind everyone reminding him.
No, he does remind everyone. Which unfortunately with them too is great. But that's sort of the first memories, and then 2 years later, it's the Lions and understanding how this composition of players from the 4 home nations comes together. And then I'm like, okay, that's something I want to do one day, right? I want to be able to play at the home of rugby, Twickenham, against the world champions, and got that opportunity in 2004 as my first test match, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, incredible stories. All right, guys, more from you to come later on. It's not just here on O2 Inside Line Live. You can keep up to date with everything. We've also got the England Rugby podcast now ahead of WXV, kicking off in New Zealand for our Red Roses. This week's star is Sarah Beckett.
Kate and I were born early. I spent the first month of my life in ICU in Liverpool Women's Hospital, and Kate spent 2 months in the hospital, which I think was really tough on my family, having to bring one baby home and then go and visit another one in the hospital. But I was born at £3 and Kate was born at £2. And Kate dropped to £1, I think. So she was quite sick. I actually got asked for one of my shirts so that they could put it up in the unit for families coming in to visit their babies, to just show people that even if you're born early or you're having to spend some time in the ICU before you can go home, that you can be successful in whatever field you want. So that was a massive honour for me. You're listening to the England Rugby podcast, O2 Inside Line, and I'm Sarah Beckett.
And Sarah's podcast is actually out now, so make sure you search wherever you get your podcast for England Rugby to tune in to the latest episode. Welcome back, guys. This is O2 Inside Line Live. I'm Topsy, joined by Bryan and Chris Robshaw. And it's time for Back to Front, our weekly game. Bryan's been practicing behind the scenes as well. 20 seconds on the clock, as many repetitions, style points, source points, whatever you got. Yeah. We want to see your skills. Before we have a go, you're going to have a look at some highlights across the series. Wow. 20 seconds, as many reps as you can.
Back to front.
Back to front. We're getting serious now. The crocs are off. 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh my God, what a bad start.
15.
Marcus, don't lose it, Marcus. Yeah, off the head, off the Swede, yes. Hang on, did you say have it, Jack?
14. 15 time. 14. Time.
13, that was 13.
Got him
Oh,
back.
the heart rate's gone up.
I don't think. Have we got 2 yet? And that is time. So, loads of great guests giving it a go. Your targets are Rachel Burford, sitting pretty at the top of the tree, 19, and Robbo, second place at 15.
Wow.
So
I had a bit of practice. No, I had a bit of practice. I'm just saying, I don't think that's Burf's first go at 19, right?
Not.
And looking at her skill there, I'm like, that just doesn't correlate.
So she'll be back tomorrow to be like, right, we're doing it again. Okay. So 20 seconds on the clock, please. 3, 2, 1, off you go. That's a horrible start. 1, 2, 3. Still 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Still 10. Set broken. 11.
The sponsors aren't happy.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And time.
That's surely bonus points for that one.
16. Not bad.
Considering you dropped it early on, that was...
So close.
So close.
We get a second chance? No, Jack.
Destroyed the set.
Sorry.
Robbo, you going to have a go at taking your crown back?
Yeah, I would. I saw Rachel on the weekend, actually, and she was quite smug about it. So I kind of want to have a go, but...
Go on then. Can't resist. 20 seconds, please. 3, 2, 1, off you go. 1, 2, 3, 4.
He's got it.
5, 6. Oh, no! Still 5.
7.
6, 7. 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18.
She's still... You having a go?
Yeah, go on then. It's been alright. All right. Who's timing?
If we didn't drop it, we'd be alright.
Oh, no pressure.
Start from behind, don't you? You
start from behind. Sorry, my bad.
3, 2, 1.
1.
2, 3, 4, 5. Gotta get the ball.
Topsy, come on.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Too slow. Too slow.
Is it 20 seconds or 30 seconds? Is it 20 or 30 seconds?
20.
Wow, that is amazing. I want to say my pajamas look much better with me standing up.
Guys, if you'd like to do the honours, put your names on the board.
Oh, Robert, what did Robert get? 18.
18. So close.
Slow me up.
Who's gonna go up? There you go.
Make some space.
Top 3, I'll take 16. Robert.
Cross that out. There you go, lovely.
18.
What were you, Tops? 5?
No.
Where did Topper get?
12.
11.
I can be out there. You know, middle of the pack. It's all good.
Benel, hell of a player at the moment. Terrible at this game. 2. How has he got 2?
What did you get, Topsy?
12. Strong 12.
Yeah, unfortunately, starting at T right at the bottom.
There we go. That will do. All right.
I'll definitely say the warm up a little bit early did help.
Yeah, helped you. Guys, keep sending your entries in as well. Use the hashtag back to front and we'll get them featured in the shows we have coming up. We're going to sit down. You guys are going to take out a snippet from this rose. Our behind the scenes exclusive. This week's star is Owen Farrell.
So we had our biggest training day yesterday, and after it we had different community visits, so different people went to different places. My group was down at the training centre on the field, playing rugby with younger kids. We just got stuck in playing touch for an hour basically. I reckon some of the lads did more meters in the visit than they did in the training session at times. But yeah, it was good. It's nice to get out of camp mode at times. Nice to get out of our own little bubble and get out to see different people. So the visit was great. Yeah. Curry did take it too seriously, like he does with most things. It started off all pretty light-hearted and he was joking around, but he ended up getting stepped. He tried to chase, I think, about 3 people down and didn't manage to catch them. He went for a turnover in a game of touch. So yeah, that's a little snippet of what he was like.
And you can catch the weekly episodes of This Rose on England's YouTube channel. The next episode is going to be dropping very, very soon. Guys, a bit more relaxed. Let's get into some of the fans' questions. Guys, thank you very much for the questions you have sent in. First up, Brian, this one's for you.
Yep.
Hi, Brian.
Hi.
My name's Katie. I'm 14. My dad is from South Africa too, and my mum's from England. We're big fans of yours, and I've always wondered what you would look like in a white shirt. Now, on O2 Inside Line Live, we do like to appease our fans, keep them happy, and got a young girl here who'd like to make a dream come true. So, for 5-10 seconds, would you don a white shirt?
So, I mean, firstly, I have donned the white shirts a few times for the Springboks. There will be no chance. There will be no chance.
What about if we just put it like that? Hold it like that. How's that look?
For Katie,
It's below the chest line, Katie. It's below the chest line. It's below the chest line.
Katie, we tried. Look, we've got it positioned next to Brian.
He's touching him.
He's touching it. He's friendly with it for...
I mean, if it was just the O2 there, I'd wear it, but the rest... Yeah.
All right.
Post game, have you ever swapped with a player and put it straight on?
Ooh, England.
To kind of cover your modesty or anything, like
no.
Some of the forwards.
So quickly. My first game was against England. I scored a try with my first hustle ball. It's like a dream come true. And I'm in the change room, and I'm like, this is like the most incredible experience of my life. And the England player, I'm not going to name him because I actually felt too bad, but he was a World Cup winner that was also on the bench, like came to the change room and was like, Brian, do you want to swap your jersey? And I'm there as like a 21-year-old like looking at a World Cup winner, and I'm like, this guy just won a World Cup a year ago and I'm now needing to reject him.
Oh,
and I'm
man.
I'm not going to name him, but I just felt so bad.
They're watching.
No,
They're watching.
I apologise. You know,
but then how many shirts did you have per
Post
game?
that? 2. You have 2.
Okay, and it's your first game. You shouldn't be given. He should have given you his shirt.
Yeah, but I mean, he probably didn't know it's going to swap. And I mean, we got absolutely thumped that day. So, but it was like it's my first. Like the people that I wanted to give, I wanted to keep one, and there was only one then to give to a person. But yeah,
you've got your debut shirt. I've got my.
Yeah, you do. Like you wouldn't expect like. Especially if it's an experienced guy, you would have thought he'd give it to you and be like, well,
it was also, he was on the bench, so he was a World Cup winner whose name also started with a B, followed by an E and maybe an N at the end, and I'm like, not going to name him, but I was like, I'm so sorry, I can't swap jerseys. Like but yeah, it was, so I mean, that's the level of extent that I didn't want an England jersey. It's been coming, you know.
Yeah, it's been coming, no problem. Okay, next question to both of you from Becca. Thank you, Becca. Would you ever do a retired players game? No.
Sorry, Becca, I'm out.
No. I think my body would break as soon as I did anything, and not for me.
So I did the Cape Town Tens has sort of thing run by Bob Skinner and Robbie Fleck, and they asked me the year after I retired, 2019, to sort of come be the coach of the sort of the Legends team. I was like, okay, cool, yeah, 100%. Like, sort of on the sideline, like 6 months. I didn't get to play rugby in my last season of like professional rugby. Like, I'm gonna have a crack. So I was the manager, coach. Like, went into the field. Like, 10 minutes left. Went on. Got pumped in a ruck. Nose started bleeding. Threw the ball and walked. I was like, done.
Yeah,
I'm done. It's not necessary. So no.
I nearly pulled a hammy in the dad's sports day race about 6 weeks ago. Yeah. In the summer. So yeah, it's a no from me as well. Yeah,
but being a manager, I'm on any management team. So Bermuda, I've heard great things about.
Bermuda. He's in. Sign him up. There we go. All right, Chris, this one is for you.
Mm-hmm.
Why did Chris think the tash was a good idea? Asking for a friend.
No, I'm not asking for a friend. I want to also know I'm his wife.
That is from Camilla. Thank you, Camilla.
you've set her up there.
AKA Mrs. Robshaw.
You know what? I think being in France, I wanted to go a little bit French and give something a little go. You know, we've got to try something else in our old age. Joe Marler does mohawks and stuff. I thought I'd try a moustache. Yeah. So it's not working.
No.
Is that what you're trying to tell me?
No, but I would reckon if you shave off the rest of your beard and just leave the mo, then
you think that's better?
I mean, if you want to go proper French, right, you can't go like
half French.
Yeah, dirty lip and then a dirty chin. It doesn't work, right?
Can we do that before you go home and then get Camilla's
I think I've got to run for the Euro now. I don't think there's time, unfortunately.
Guys, thank you very much for your questions. Chris, Bryan, really appreciate your time. You've been amazing guests. Round of applause, please. Absolute pleasure. Guys, that is it from us tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget, the England Rugby socials are your place to keep up to date with everything out here in France. Use the hashtag #WearTheRose. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you again very soon. Good night.
Good work.
What does it mean to you? Hard to define, innit? Cup of tea, pint of ale, chai latte, protein shake. Yeah, a little bit of everything. Like this team, made up of absolute units, speedsters, maestros, even the odd little fella. Players from everywhere that play from anywhere. Mohawks, optional. Fight, non-negotiable. It's all good. Differences are what makes us us. It's when we come together, the magic happens. Listen, you know that rose? Yeah, that one. Whisper it. It's not originally from here, but it's what it means to us that's important. And it represents this beautiful, weird bundle of culture we call home. And that's what we play for.